This is what I think is going on. Okay, there's time here. Okay, and we're talking about 6 months. And she's thinking about a 6-month treasury. So the underlying security we're dealing with here is a 6-month treasury bill. And we're thinking about time 0. Okay, what is a treasury bill? A treasury bill is a promise to pay a certain amount of money 6 months from now, and there's no coupon payments or anything like that in the middle to worry about. Okay. She then says, let's suppose we buy this treasury bill and we borrow money against it. We do a 3-month repo to finance it. Okay. So if we do that, okay, so we're borrowing short and we're lending long. Okay, so maybe we expect to make some money doing that. But we do face some price risk because at the end of 3 months, this treasury bill is going to have some value. Okay, it's going to then be a 3-month treasury bill, but it's going to have some value, and it may be higher, it may be lower than what we have to pay back the repo, and so we're facing some danger here. But we could protect ourselves by doing a short futures position. Okay, so that if the thing falls in value, okay, we win. Okay, we're short. So I'm showing long positions above the line and short positions below the line. So repo is borrowing, so it's short, and this is a short futures position here. Okay. Now the reason this is, and then she says, okay, so fine, let's do all of this, and then let's calculate the profit that comes from this. Okay. But why should there be any profit that comes from this? Okay, because you've just gotten rid of all. You have a long position and you have an equal and opposite short position, and they should cancel. And why is there any profit here at all? Okay, and yet apparently sometimes there is. Let's think about this in a way that now connects up with the lecture a little bit more. If you think about a long position in a treasury bill and a short position in a repo, like this, okay, this is actually a forward contract. This is a synthetic forward contract because we saw that on the balance sheets, right? When you have a 6-month loan and a 3-month deposit, okay, that's sort of what you have here. So this is really like long forward and short futures for the same term. Okay, but that doesn't help us because once again, well, that just says, shouldn't these things be the same price? And if they are, there'll be no arbitrage profits. So this again points to, this problem here. Okay, that there's a wedge. There's a wedge, and we need to understand what that wedge is. Empirically, there seems to be a wedge. What is the source of that wedge? So let's use some of our formulas here. So this is our futures formula here. If this formula held, okay, if that held, okay, there would be no profit. Okay, so this is full carry pricing. She calls this full carry pricing. Okay. However, if it doesn't hold, if it's like that, okay, here's the cash and carry arbitrage. And I guess for completion, you could say, if it went the other way, it would be reverse cash and carry. Okay. So if it's like this, okay, then long forward, short futures, you make money, cash and carry arbitrage. Okay, if it's like this, you just want to reverse that. You want to be short forwards and long futures. Okay, in order to do that. Okay, this still doesn't explain anything. Okay, but we're starting to at least throw some numbers at it, throw some quantitative stuff at it. Another way that she tries to talk about this is by referring to something called the implied repo rate. I puzzled over this for a long time. Okay, what is the implied repo rate? The implied repo rate is the interest rate that would make full carry pricing true when it's not actually true with the actual. Okay, so we can define the implied repo rate is rho. Rho is the Greek R, okay? And it just is defined by that equation here where we use rho instead of, okay? So if we let that be so, if we define rho in that way, you can see just by here that this is a case where rho is greater than R, and this is a case where rho is less than R. Just by substituting in the definition here. And seeing that we have the STs are the same, the T's are the same, and the only things that are different are the rhos and the R's. Okay. So now that gives us another idea. Okay, so cash and carry arbitrage is like borrowing at the actual interest rate and lending at the implied repo rate. So it's like borrowing at one rate and lending at a little bit higher rate. Okay. So it's like an interest rate spread. It's an interest rate spread here that we're doing. I don't know, more algebra, more quantitative. Still, why would it be greater than this? What's the issue?